There's a lot of things that go into a conversion rate, an activation rate, or a churn rate. Some people will reach the next milestone without any hurdles, while some will get stuck at that critical stage. It's the great power of life cycle, behavioral emails, to be able to help or influence users in key decision stages. So this helps improve performance for your program. Sometimes behaviors or issues will be too specific to change the product to handle them, the product UIs, or sometimes they won't be easy to get the development time for the business. So in those situations, behavioral emails and in-app messages can really help make a big difference. So let's look at it from Highlight's perspective. So at eye level, our funnel looks like this. So we get traffic from different sources. They land either on a website or on our homepage or on the blog. Some of them sign up, some of them set up their account, some of them reach a certain number of sessions, engagement, retention, and then some of them upgrade. So it's based on R, so the Pirate for Metrics for Pirates framework by Dave Meckler, which is acquisition, activation, retention, revenue, and referral. So our goal for our product is to get users to activate, which means that they set up several clients as an agency and they use it several times within the same week, under a week. So we're trying to compress the time and get them to activate as quickly as possible. Although these metrics are really good for getting an overview, they can be highly misleading when there are multiple sub steps within all of these steps. So let's take a closer look at the flow. So we acquire traffic. So some of our traffic comes from Google, so direct search engine searches through content. So people, in that case, they land on your blog. They might click to go to the home page, sign up, or they might sign up directly from the blog. And cold reach out. So we directly reach out to agencies, and some of them land on our website and they convert. So that's already three contexts and experiences that are completely different. Okay. From there, the signups, either they come from the blog, from the home page, from the pricing page, from some other pages. Sometimes we got one from a terms and condition page. So there's a lot of different things that just go into that initial, those initial stages. Okay, so people have different contexts. They came from different pages, different channels. They may be very qualified or underqualified to be good leads for us. And then we get to the product. So once people are deciding that they're going to sign up, so they get to this page. So some people will sign up via Google Analytics, or some will sign up directly through the regular email sign up. So in this case, I'm going to sign up. So once I've signed up, if I've completed this, there's another step. So in this case, will I use this account to manage clients? So yes or no. There's also the idea that someone might just not do anything on this page. So if I do this, I will set it up as a single account. So in this stage, same thing. I can skip the setup. I can go through. I can just stop using the product. So I'm doing this. I'm setting up on Google Analytics. There's another step. So the more steps there are, the more complexity that is triggered in in the setup. In this case, I'm selecting this. So you see multiple steps. Then do I set up MailChimp? Do I set up HubSpot? Do I set up any of them? So just the decision tree becomes more and more complex, and that's a lot of product. So I've not even landed on the actual app itself. Now it's setting it up. I could also drop off right now, but I could keep going as well. So there's a lot of complexity right there. So more decisions means more breakpoints, more places where people can drop off and stop using the product. It's not necessarily bad, but it just means that it's more complicated. So if we take a closer look, and this is just sample data that we use, so our patterns. So say we start with the week with 1,300 people. So 100% of those people land on our blog. So from there, they can click a link. They can click the sign up button. They can begin the sign up process. They can complete the sign up. So there's all these sub steps that lead to them converting and eventually paying for the software. So through looking at these broken down cohorts with more specific stages, we're able to find the breakpoints and the specific issues with our funnel. So this is by going really granular and really looking at the key stages like that and looking at your stats, starting with 100% of traffic and breaking it down gradually, you can really understand where your breakpoints are. And once you identify these breakpoints, your conversion funnel, your sign-up funnel, you want to analyze it from different angles. So within that 20% of people that sign up, for example, or 15% of people that sign up, do users, are they coming from different traffic sources? Do they behave differently in those cases? Do they come from different countries, different regions in the world? Is it performing better in one place, another place? Are they on mobile? Are they on using a tablet or a desktop device? Are their considerations in terms of site performance? Did they convert better when the site was faster versus slower? Are there any issues with payment if there's payment at some point within those stages? Are there different types of issues? So you want to look at all the facets of those that statistics and break it down to understand what are the elements that are working well and which ones are working less well. So this can help you understand the composition of that metric. So the user can, so your goal there is to understand if the context and the scope of consideration. So is it more about the user, so the user type? Did they come from different places? Were they of different origins, different language, different types of profiles themselves? You understand the context as well, the flow that they went through. Did that set the wrong expectations? Were they not understanding the value of the product? Or if anything was broken specifically, so were they just not able to go through? Were there any issues that we need to fix in terms of the flow or the processes that are put in place? So if you're dealing with issues around the user, you can speak to the different types of users differently. If you're talking about the context, you can open the door for support or for help in those specific scenarios. If something is broken specifically, you can find alternate paths to get them over the hump and converting. So from there, it's best you want to consider the best path to influence behavior. So if they are in your app, you can, and then when the issue is happening, you can use in-app messages, or pop-ups, or different types of chat communications like that can help. If they're not on the site or the issue just happened and then they left the site, you can use email to help either anticipate the issue or to help them overcome the issue afterwards. It's often better to catch it beforehand, so that helps you point them in the right direction so they can better convert. So you can't expect perfect timing. So chances are that if you try to target a specific moment in time with either in-app messages or emails, it will come either afterwards or will not come exactly on time all of the time. So it's you have to understand that it's best to anticipate in that case, or it's best to send it around the time when it's not specifically on a critical action. So you can get creative with targeting and segmentation. So this is something that really needs to be tested because sometimes it will be difficult to recreate some issues if you're dealing with linguistic issues or parts of the things that are in other parts of the world. So this is a lot like QA testing. So there's things that are hard to recreate, and thus they're hard to fix and understand that when they're happening. So the example of this is at Lander, we were trying to improve conversions in certain parts of the world. So since their prices were in USD, a lot of places people didn't understand specifically what $20 USD meant for them, especially in that critical moment where you're thinking in terms of pesos or you're thinking in terms of euros. You don't necessarily know instinctively like at $20 US is this is a good price. I should convert. So this is one thing that you could handle in that specific case. But targeting the exact moment where people are trying to convert and going to make the decision is very difficult. So it's quite possible that you send a message at the wrong time or right afterwards. So you want to make sure that whatever you set up in terms of behavioral messaging works with other sequences. So if it's a single email that just helps clarify information or helps give more information, or it's an app message, you can squeeze it in the program without too much of an issue. But if you need to have several communication, it might be a good idea to pause the other, to get the user out of your sequence and get them on a new user sequence, email sequence. So focus on the issues at hand and don't overwhelm your users with too many different communications. So what is the biggest hurdle to them getting over on and converting? So we currently have 3 different behavioral campaigns at Highlights. So the first one is, as you saw, we have a fairly extensive onboarding process. And on day 1, we send an email. We send an email because people are offsite at that point. Oftentimes they will finish the onboarding or finish part of the onboarding and then land in the app, and then they will use it a little bit and then get out of the site. So at that point, it's very hard for us to handle that specifically, because they actually might be retweaking their setup. They might be changing things within that first session. So we use email to reconnect with them afterwards on the first day, and we do it by steps. So it's either an email to push to the next step. So if they didn't select their user type, we try and get that done. If they didn't set up their Google Analytics account, we try to get them to set that up. If it's an incomplete Google Analytics account, so there were multiple steps, we try to get them to finish that. If they didn't set up an email setup, or if they didn't add clients, if they're an agency, we try to get them to finish that as well. So these are the elements. Focused on the elements that are essential for them to experience the most value out of the product. So they cascade in the sense of priority. So I'm going to show you what we have. So in this case, the first campaign they get is if they didn't select a user type, they would get an email specifically around that. If they did select a user type, but they didn't set up their Google Analytics account, they would get a different email. If their Google Analytics account isn't complete, they get another email. And if they didn't add clients, they get another email. So you can see that some people add issues at different steps of this. You can use this to help improve their product, but at the same time, we try to alleviate the issues. I'm just going to show you one of the emails. So we send it as quickly as possible. We tell them that it's basically a welcome email that's a little bit turned around to help them with their specific key point. So it's great to have you on board. To get maximum value out of your Highlights accounts, you need to set it up right here. So that's a specific link to the steps that they were at. In just a minute or so, you'll get actionable insights. So we use the fact that they're going to get this benefit that they signed up for to get them to finish their setup. So this is what you need to do to be able to do this. Sounds like a good deal, so try to minimize the volume or the effort that's required. And we track the specific action, whether they complete it. So the goal in this case, we have a lot of people that came back and did this. We also have invalid emails. So that's in case that people don't complete this specifically. Now we have another sequence that sends on the first day if they've not received these emails. So this is not complimentary. So if the user has completed the onboarding process, so the first few steps that we saw, we send them a personal follow-up email from me, so the founder of the company, welcoming them, and we open the door for questions. We make a PS suggestion, so in the PS at the bottom, the PS will be completely different depending on what you've done before. So if they didn't add enough clients, their site is too small in terms of volume of traffic, to be able to get value. They have set up some integrations, but not the other ones that will give them other benefits. We try to handle that with the best scenario. Again, it cascades from the most appropriate use case, and then it goes to the next one if that's not an issue. So the goal is to get users to further their engagement with the product in Activate. So we try to get them to see more of the value of the product as quickly as possible. And the last one that we have in terms of behavioral emails right now is the trial extension email. So if it's the right user, so we take an assessment of their qualification, how they view the product, and what kind of value they can actually get. 2 days after trial expiry, we send them an email and an offer to extend the trial. So this allows us to win back some of these users. In this case, it's an email, same thing, because they might be off-site, they might not have been there in a few days, and basically just offering to add more time. Your account has been pretty quiet since your free trial ended. Is there anything I can help you with? If you need more time to try it out, I'd be happy to extend your trial. It doesn't make any sense for you to pay for something you haven't had a chance to try yet. So being empathetic, trying to make them understand that there is other ways around this, and we're building a relationship with them. So this works pretty well, considering that the users would be dropping off at this case. This is probably in replacement for a more complete value expansion sequence that we would put in place, but we don't have that right now. So you can understand the send time, spend time analyzing your cohorts in depth, breaking it down in sub steps, understanding where the issues are, understand the key breakpoints, evaluate if it's relevant to use email, in-app, or another type of communication to handle those situations or to help accentuate behaviors. Quantify the impact when possible. So especially if you're getting a lot of signups, you can understand that, well, so fixing this would bring in this much more conversion, these many more conversions. You can create a business case for this if you need someone to implement this as a feature. Keep track of the issues. Sometimes it's easier to fix directly in the product when there's issues. It will just make it more robust solution for your users. So lifecycle emails can be really, really helpful to help support, but also for behavior reinforcement, as you can see. So if someone is about to convert, you can just give them a little bit of a push for them to get over the hump and convert. So look for the bigger wins and grow performance with lifecycle email. That's really, really, that can be really, really key for your business.